With us now is journalist, documentary filmmaker, and immigration activist Jose Antonio Vargas, founder of Define American, director of the autobiographical Documented, and himself an undocumented immigrant. This is obviously for you very personal. How does this personally affect you? What does it mean in your life?
I mean, it's one of those things where I've been thinking about it all day and I still haven't, it hasn't really sunk in. I've been here since I was 12. That's 21 years, right? And so for somebody to just say, okay, now it's okay. Now it's okay. You can get a work permit. You can get a driver's license. You can travel outside of the country. I've been to 44 of the 50 American states, and now I can actually, you know, go see Canada or something.
Although I think it's going to be up to each state whether or not they issue driver's licenses.
Yes, and that's going to get really interesting.
There's a lot of governors who are saying point blank that it's not. That's not going to happen.
And this is where I think it gets really interesting to me, because the politics of this is so loud, and it's so muddled, especially considering how little facts people know about the issue. Right? More than 60% of us who have been here for longer than 10 years. Undocumented people pay billions of dollars in taxes and Social Security that we don't even hear about, right? And the fact that there are 17 million people in America that's called mixed status households. So I'm Filipino. We're like the Italians of Asia. There's like 25 people in my family. I'm the only one of 25 who's undocumented.
When was the last time you saw your mom, for instance?
21 years ago.
21 years ago?
21 years ago. So I called her.
Because you're not able to leave the United States.
If I leave before this executive action, if I leave, I won't be able to come back. Mm-hmm. And she can't come here because she's in a 16-year waiting list right now, which is common for the Philippines, India, or Guatemala. Mm-hmm. So now I can actually apply for some sort of status, right? This temporary, this is not permanent, temporary, and then actually ask for parole to leave and then be allowed to come back. So that's actually part of the mechanism of how this is going to work.
You know, there are a lot of people who say, look, this is just going to encourage more undocumented immigrants from crossing over the border illegally.
But the president said, and this is the directive from the Department of Homeland Security, right? You have to be here for 5 years. So people who come yesterday or a year before or next year are not going to be a part of it.
But doesn't it send a message that, you know what, come anyway, and 5 years from now, there's going to be another program like this? And
this is where, and this is where I think, when it comes to this issue, what we've had is nothing but status quo. Everybody argues about it, everybody knows it's broken, but no one wants to do anything. Finally, the president says, okay, we're doing something. Now Congress, the ball's in your court, now what? And what I've been doing for the past 3 years as an openly undocumented person, I did this in the film, I'm doing this now, is this question, and you know, you hear a lot from Republicans saying that they want to like defund this or like make it invalidate. Congress members, what do you actually want to do with us? Like, what do you want to do with us?
Do you understand the anger that some people have toward undocumented? I mean,
and I think the anger comes from the lack of information. Because once you tell people what it's about, for example, the two questions that I get asked every day, right, on Twitter or email or whatever, is why don't you make yourself legal? Because, you know, I can just show up in an office, right, fill out a form. And why don't you wait in the back of the line?
Right.
Somehow we don't tell people that there's no line. That's why we need immigration reform.
Which is something the president was referencing tonight, about the idea that people are, you know, jumping ahead of the line is inherently unfair.
I don't want to jump out of. Give me a line. If you want a line in 18 Connecticut, I'll be there like right now, waiting in the back of the line. But there's no line. There's no process. The president created a process. Now the question is, how is Congress going to react to that, and what are they going to put forth?
Do you believe that there will be some sort of comprehensive immigration reform?
I don't know. Not with this deep level of partisanship, and not with the kind of misinformation that people have about who we are and why we're here. And you know, the fact that, you know, we're in your communities. Like we're not criminals. We're not taking away from this country. I mean, to me, the tenor of the conversation, and sometimes you hear Michelle Bachmann and some of these Congress people, are they talking about people or insects? Like, what are they talking about?
She made a comment just the other day about sort of hordes of illiterate
I speak English pretty well, I think. I think I do. I think a lot of us do.
Do you find that the tenor of the debate glosses over the kind of the humanity of people?
And this is where I think for us, you know, and we at Define America have been at the forefront of this, the fact that there's still news organizations like the Washington Post, the New York Times, that refer to people as illegal. I am here illegally. As a person, I'm not illegal. How do you legalize somebody who's illegal? You don't. You call them illegal, end of conversation, right? I think that has really become a problem as to why we can't, and I've done, 350 events in 44 states in the past 3 years. And I got to tell you, the deep level of misunderstanding and the lack of humanity and compassion when we talk about it. And tonight, when I was listening to the president, you know what I kept thinking about? I kept thinking about the Irish. I kept thinking about the Italians. I kept thinking about all these immigrants that came here before there was Ellis Island, before there was any process, right? Why did they come here? We didn't come here so we enjoyed to be called illegal and criminals. We come here like they came here, right? My mother made the ultimate sacrifice, and I'm thankful for her for that.
Jose Antonio Vargas, good to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Tonight's a
having
good night for you. Yes? You're happy?
It's a great night. Yeah,
You're going to be able to sleep tonight?
I think so.
Okay. Thank you very much for being with us.